Since half of my face will be painted, I decided to take this Elmer's glue stick and completely glue down my eyebrow. Right here you can see that I'm just brushing down my hairs, making sure that none of them are sticking in the wrong direction, and then right after that I'm just going back over with that exact same glue stick and making sure that everything stays down. So I took this part out, but I did do my other eyebrow, and now I am starting on my eyeshadow. I first put down my concealer base like always, making sure that I have a nice plain base so that way when I apply colors you can clearly see what colors I'm trying to use. And right here it looks like I'm not really applying anything, but I was applying eyeshadow primer. Like always, I'm using my Urban Decay eyeshadow primer. After applying that eyeshadow primer, I just went ahead and took this purple shade from the James Charles x Morphe palette. Now I will be placing this all over my crease, making sure that I get as close to my brow bone as I possibly can, making sure that that purple shade really stands out the most. Because we're trying to go for more of a halo eye, I will be taking this darker plum shade and making sure that I get that on the outer corner of my eye as well as the inner corner of my eye, and trying to keep my eye shape a little bit more round. And here I am just taking my concealer with a flat brush, making sure to cut out a semi-cut crease, not necessarily taking it all the way to the outer edge of my eye or taking it all the way to the inner edge of my eye as well, just making sure that I stay in the middle. And here I just applied a sparkly purple shade. Now because this one didn't show up as nicely as I wanted it to, I did go ahead and just applied some glitter glue, and then right after that I topped it with some purple glitter. And here I am cleaning up any fallout that I might have had from the eyeshadow or the glitter. Either way, I just made sure to clean up the edges, make them look as crisp as possible, and then from there I just moved on to applying foundation. I'm using my regular foundation that I usually wear. I only tried to keep it on my forehead as well as the bottom portion of my eye, since I would be painting the rest of my face. And here is the final product after I completely finished my eyeshadow and I had applied some false lashes. Now moving on to the other side of my face, I did go ahead and just applied some concealer to my eyebrow, trying to make sure that it goes away as best as possible. And then from there I just took a beauty blender, blended it out as best as I possibly could without necessarily taking it all off. Of course, you can't forget to set your eyebrow with some translucent powder. You want to make sure that that concealer that you applied to begin with will stay. And now moving on to the painting portion of my face. To paint my face, I took a cream paint in purple and mixed it with a white water activated paint. When it first went on, it went on very light, but as the video goes on, you will notice that it starts to dry and then the purple color comes out a little bit more at a time. So by the end of the video, you'll notice that my face is completely purple. For the upper portion, or the portion that's the closest to the other side of your face, you don't necessarily have to have a completely straight line. I made sure to kind of wiggle the line around, trying to make it as unperfect as possible. I did, however, try to keep it away from the eyeshadow that I had done to begin with. Painting over my eyebrow was very easy. Now, because we did glue it down and we did set it with some translucent powder after applying concealer, it was super easy to paint over and my natural brow did not come out one bit. I also went ahead and painted my neck, made sure to keep those lines uneven as I possibly could, and just filled in the rest. And here I am setting my entire paint with some translucent powder, like always, making sure that once I set this translucent powder that it won't go anywhere, that the purple paint that I had applied to begin with won't transfer over to the black and it won't become a mess. For the eye portion of our skull, I just went ahead and completely outlined the socket of my eye, tried to make it a little bit bigger than my natural eye, completely outlined it, and then I started to fill it in after I was happy with the outline. You will definitely want to take your time with this part of the makeup look. You can always start off small and then work your way up to making it bigger. I will suggest that if you start to make the eye portion bigger, you can't go back if you make any mistakes. You can't just go back and add more purple. It will completely mess up the look, and you never know if the black will start transferring everywhere. And here I am outlining what would be considered a cheekbone, not necessarily making it true to my actual face, but making sure that I get the point across. After that, I did go ahead and I moved on to making this somewhat indented shape next to my forehead, what would be considered my temple area. And I just added a couple of lines trying to make it look like somewhat a bit of shading. Starting off with the outer corners of my lips, I am outlining them outwards, and then from there I will be outlining my jawline going up and then outlining going down. I would say this makeup look is pretty simple to recreate. It shouldn't be that hard. All you gotta do is outline some wiggly lines, and then from there fill them in, trying to resemble a skull shape. I would say that the majority of the black that we are painting in will be covered with some jewels. And here I am moving on to the nose part. Of course, this is very simple to do. If you're not too familiar with how a skull should look, you can always Google a picture online and then just try to recreate that picture as best as you possibly can. Like I said, you don't necessarily have to go too much into detail since the majority of this will be covered up. Instead of drawing individual little teeth for the mouth portion, I just went ahead and completely painted my lips black and then drew on a bunch of little lines going upwards and downwards. And now I just moved on to adding some shading to my neck area. Using this pink eyeshadow, I just went ahead and applied it as if it were a highlighter. I applied it to the highest portions of my face paint, making sure that it looked nicely and it blended in well. And the diamonds I'll be using today are from a packet called Gem Party. I bought this packet at Walmart for $5.98. The packet itself was really inexpensive. It came with its own glue and tons of different shapes and sizes of jewels. When applying the diamonds, I didn't necessarily put them in any particular order. I just went ahead and covered up places where I thought my face paint came out a little bit ugly and I just wanted to hide it. So I just went ahead and applied some jewels right to those areas. One of the most important parts of this makeup look is actually the teeth. I took these tear-shaped jewels and then applied them as my teeth, taking them going upwards and then going downwards as well. Just remember that any areas that you will be applying jewels to, you have to apply eyelash glue or whatever type of glue that you have that is safe for your skin. Of course, if you talk during this look or if you plan on using it throughout the night, I don't think that the jewels on your mouth will stay. And this is our final product. Of course, I will see you guys all in the next YouTube tutorial. Let me know if you want to see anything in particular that I can recreate for you guys, and hopefully this video was helpful.